Good morning, Anna. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. So it's a nice and bright Saturday morning, and I have the privilege to interview you. We met via a group of expat people, and today we're going to talk about your expat life. You are going to tell us more about the organization you created for expat people so that they can also meet Indian professionals. So could you please introduce yourself the way you would like people to get to know you?
Yeah, so my name was already mentioned, and I'm a three times founder in India. So I live here for more than 6 years with a break, and I'm a woman entrepreneur. I traveled a lot. I lived in different countries. I live now here in India. I mean, mostly in India, and I travel back and forth between Germany, India, Switzerland, Germany. So I split my time between three countries, but mainly in India. I would say like 10 months in a year I'm here.
This is a very good summary of who you are, and we're going to get to know more about you. But before we do that, I always like to ask some questions which are related to the culture in general so that we can get to know the guest in another way. So, my first question would be, what is the strangest food combination you secretly enjoyed?
Not only enjoying actually,
Oh,
but
very
yes,
good. So, tell us about it.
I'm allergic to chili, what is a real challenge in India. So, what I secretly enjoy is, for example, having dosa with hummus or dosa with banana.
Oh, that's interesting. So for those people who don't know much about India, dosa looks like a French crepe, which is
So,
flat and round. But usually in India, it's a salty dish. So it's
yeah,
interesting that you're
exactly.
having it with banana, but why not? I mean,
Yeah.
this is an adaptation of the way Indian people like it because it's true that usually when they serve it with gravy, it's kind of spicy.
Yeah.
So that's actually a very good one. And the other one is, what's one cultural habit or tradition from another country you've adopted into your own life?
So I lived also for a while in Spain and I danced flamenco at that time. And for the dance and also for the feria, they have this rose clips on their hair. And
Okay.
as you can see, I actually
Oh, I
adapted
can
that.
see that.
Not,
Yes, I didn't. That's wonderful.
yeah,
Yes.
not
Okay.
not only for dance. So I wear it actually now daily. Cannot step
Okay.
out of the house without my rose.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's
And it
maybe my
matches your
secret.
shirt. So do you always
Exactly. Yeah.
So for the people who are watching the video and not just listening, you will see that Anna is very specific about what she's wearing, very precise, which is very good. And this maybe reflects your personality. We can maybe come back to it later. And the last question, when you travel, because you travel a lot, what do you always pack?
I always pack my pillow
Oh,
because
well, that's an
sleep is
interesting
very
one.
important to me. Yeah, it's like a small travel pillow, but I know that I don't wake up in the morning with a neck pain. That's one thing. And I have
Okay.
also a small emergency kit always with me, not only, even if I travel or commute in Bangalore itself, medicines and um, other stuff.
So you are
And
prepared
I am
in
prepared
case
and
something
always water.
happens.
Yes,
Okay.
always
Well, that's
water.
very good. That's very
And
good.
also a small snack always. Like I
Okay.
cannot step out of the house without a small snack, traveling or even
Okay.
commuting in the city itself.
Okay, so for you, traveling not only means going around via like a car, a train, or a plane, but it also means commuting.
Well, I feel like Bangalore is sometimes, I mean, you live
That's
in
true.
Bangalore as well. It's a huge city. There's a lot of traffic.
That's true. So this is kind of a small trip. Sometimes it can take you an hour to an hour and a half. So now let's try to get to understand who you are as a professional, because you said you have been an expat for quite some time. So you are from Germany. What motivated you to leave your country?
I studied languages and I had
Okay.
always the passion for languages. So that kind of motivated me also to go abroad. It was during my studies, it was kind of a must. I mean, they didn't force us, but they
Okay.
said to improve your languages, it would be great if you go abroad. And not only me, like all the students, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And that is when I explored different countries, and I felt okay. It's a nice experience to to get out of the culture, to get to know new things, and I think you get to know yourself better if you are abroad because you see the
Okay. Could
differences.
you could you explain why you think this?
There's a saying in German, so it's like der Fremde, the stranger is only strange in a foreign place.
Okay. So did you feel this saying kind of led you to your expatriation and to the way you are living now?
Yeah, not only I worked also for the German Academic Exchange Service,
Okay.
and they have their motto is change by exchange. So I think
Okay.
this is something what really kind of motivated me. Not motivated, but I really can feel that. And again, if you do
Okay.
it with people abroad or in another country, of course the change is much bigger than in your own country.
Okay. All right. So could you please explain us what you do in India? So you are saying you are an entrepreneur, and so could
Yes.
you please tell us what is this business about so that we can learn more about it?
Yes. So I would like to start with the Expat Business Council, where we also met.
No
That
problem. And I will
was,
make sure I will put the link to this organization. So tell us more
yes.
about it.
Yeah, so we founded that almost 3 months ago. The idea came up in spring 2000. I mean, in India, we cannot talk about spring, but European spring. So let's say like about April or May. What we were, I mean, a group here in Bangalore were missing that we could mingle with people who were also into business and also from people from abroad, like other expats, but also to have the connections to local people, because what we saw is there are a lot of groups, roundtables related to one country. Let's say there's the German roundtable, or maybe the Italian roundtable, or maybe the French roundtable,
Yes.
the Japanese roundtable. And there are also certain business organizations already. And again, they are more related to, let's say, the local business, or it's related to revenue. Let's say if you do, I don't know, 10 crores, you can join this organization. Or again, like cultural based. And then what we have is also a lot of organizations for socializing, like meeting over coffee, connecting, whatever. But what we saw is there's like a gap between all countries and the local people and related to business. And that's how we came up with that. And we got a lot
Hmm.
of positive feedback so far, asking us already if we can open something in Delhi and Mumbai as well, not only Bangalore.
Oh, that's
So
wonderful.
yeah, so we had, when we met like 2 weeks ago, that was our first bigger event. We had 13 nationalities present, and we would like to support people in their businesses internationally. And it is very important that in the end, when they become a member, that they have a measurable outcome.
How often would you like to have these meetings? Once a month, once every 2 months? How often would you like professionals to mingle?
Yes. So initially we planned to have one event in a month. That I
Okay.
would say it's the least what we would like to organize.
Hmm.
But I see already so many requests, and we might even offer it more often. But also, I mean, people are sometimes busy. So if we offer it more often, then we have also the opportunity to reach more people. But initially, definitely once in a month.
So, besides the meeting between the professionals, do you organize other events?
Yeah, so what we are planning also to have, I mean, to divide the group. I mean, if you have, let's say, 100 to 200 members or even more, there's so different fields, like, let's say, the automotive field or the educational field. So we would like to divide the groups also once in a while to make it more specific. And so it is more helpful for the people and, of course, their businesses.
Okay.
And we also offer consultancy, like, for example, like how can you apply for a visa, or how to connect to other people, how to open a bank account, all of that. We would also like to support the community.
So, you also would like to have a part in your organization which is helping expats who are just coming in and who need
Yes,
advice on how they can settle.
exactly.
How did this came to mind? Because you are an entrepreneur yourself. Did you decide this by yourself, or is it because you had some conversations with other people and you decided to do this, or people ask you if this kind of organization existed? So, how did this come up?
Yeah, so as mentioned earlier, we started with a small group, um, and it kind of organically developed then further.
Okay.
But we also saw exactly the need you just talked about, also from a personal perspective, that what we were struggling with coming as an expat to
Okay.
India. And then again, we talked to other people. They had the same experience, or people reached, I mean, I had a lot of people reaching out to me before the Expat Business Council asking me, can you help me like with that or that? Or how can I apply for a visa? Which visa? And I was thinking, okay, I'm doing it anyway. Not only me, but also my business partner.
Okay.
And yeah, and then again, it kind of developed organically. And at one point, we said, okay, we really want to incorporate. So we are also officially recognized. That was very important to
Okay.
us.
All right. And so you have a company here in Bangalore. Would you like to talk about this company? Would you like to
Yeah.
share what this is about? And I will also make sure I put the link so that people can go to the website and learn more about it.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing this up. So Quadrigo is a learning center. That is what I founded first 1.5 years ago. And we have 4 pillars. We offer courses. Intercultural training is part of the first pillar, and pronunciation courses for German. Initially, I wanted to offer like different languages, but now it's only German. And then the second pillar is exams, internationally recognized. So ÖSD and TELC. ÖSD is from Austria and TELC is from Germany. And the third pillar is teacher training. And the fourth pillar is that we help people to go from India to Austria and Germany.
Okay. And your customers are adults and professionals, or just people who want to learn for their leisure or their studies? So, who is your target audience for this
Yes.
business?
All of them want to go to Germany or Austria to do vocational training. So
Okay.
after 12 standard, or they are professionals and they want to migrate for a job.
Okay. So, you basically help younger adults and people who are already working.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, why did you decide to do this in India? Because this, I mean, your business is interesting because when I say I'm a language teacher, no one is telling me they are speaking German, but apparently there's a business going on. So, what's this reason that people want to learn German in India? Are there lots of connections?
Yeah, there are a lot of connections. And I mean, the political connection between India and Germany became quite strong in the last
Okay.
few months or years. And there are a lot of job opportunities right now. We
Okay.
have a lack of working professionals, and therefore there is something what to do about it.
Mm-hmm.
We are not alone. There are a lot of other people doing almost the same.
Okay. All right.
But I think we are a little bit different. We are the only learning center in all India who has both the licenses for ÖSD
Okay.
and take exams, for example. We have a different teaching style, and also we offer also intercultural training and cultural experiences in the language course itself. So it's not only vocabulary and grammar.
Okay, guys, quick pause. If you've made it so far, congratulations and thank you. And if something today stuck with you in this conversation, put it in the comments or even share it with your friends. And if you comment on something, I actually read the comments. If you're not subscribed yet, now this is the time. Let's get back to the conversation. Yes, and I would like to go deeper into this because I'm a language teacher myself. And when I teach a language, I'm also teaching cultures.
Yes.
So, what do you teach to your students about German or Austrian cultures that is going to help them to work better in Germany or in Austria? Like, could you give some tips that people have to know about the culture of these countries so that they don't fall into misunderstandings because they could speak German, but if they don't understand the culture,
Yes.
they can fall into this misunderstanding. So could you give us some example of your culture or the culture of Austria that people would find interesting to know?
So for me, there are two parts of the culture. One is more like the hard facts, let's say how the school system is working,
Okay.
or how to register yourself in the city, or how to apply for a visa, or how to go ahead with the health insurance. That's the hard facts. And that is, of course, part of the course itself. Then there's the soft skill part, and that is what we are teaching in the intercultural training, for example. And that is kind of okay. It's not only the differences between the countries. First of all, you have to understand like where are you coming from, and being aware about certain circumstances or behaviors. So on that comes through observation. So one part what we teach is observation. So we don't make them ready only for Austria or Germany. It's like, okay, what what can you observe about the other culture? It doesn't matter where you go, how people are communicating. So you just I mean, you don't just jump into the conversation. It's more like, okay, observe people, how they communicate. So awareness is definitely one thing what we teach. And then, of course, we have stereotypes, but it's not that we just give them the stereotypes, but again, we make them aware about it and have group discussions and study cases where we discuss then I mean, how would an Indian, for example, go ahead in this meeting, or how would go a German ahead in the conversation.
Okay.
And then during these discussions, they see differences. Sometimes they see, of course, also things in common, what is very important. Because if you only see differences, and you go abroad, then you will have this cultural clash. And of course, it happens. It
Mm.
also happened to me. But to deal with it differently is also something what we guide them on.
Okay. So say, for example, I have an opportunity to work in Germany. What would you suggest me to do in the way I should communicate with German people? If I talk to them, what would be the expectations? Like, how should I address people? Should I address them by their family name? Should
Yeah.
I address them by their first name? Do I have to be very casual or do I have to be very formal the very first time I come to work?
Yeah.
So, could you give us an example of how I would have to behave?
So usually we address people by their surnames when we meet them for the first time.
Okay.
Now, times have also changed, and here
Okay.
it comes. So I see the triangle between culture, situation, and personality, or
Okay.
the person. And it depends on whom are you meeting, like
Okay.
first. So you have to know like the person and then the situation as well. And of course, the culture is important too.
Mm-hmm.
I would say also we have the same in India, but coming back to Germany and your question, I would definitely address them first by the surname. And
Okay.
then they might see, I mean, they might offer you that you can tell them
Okay.
like the you, and like in French it is there as well, right? Like tu and vous, and we have that as well as du
Yes, so
and
tu
sie.
is the casual you and vous
Yes,
is more respectful, more
exactly.
formal. So you have this as well in
In
German.
German,
So
yes,
people need to be aware of this when they are learning German, like when to use which one. And in
exactly.
the way German people communicate or Austrian people, maybe they have two different ways. Would you say, because in India, like many Asian countries, is very indirect. Like
True.
someone is not going, so say for example, a colleague is not doing the job the way they were supposed to be doing it. In India, they're not going to say directly usually. They're going to use an indirect way to make them understand that maybe they have to redo the work or this is not what was requested or expected. So in Germany, how would you address the person? Would you be directly telling them what's wrong or would you be doing it in an indirect way?
Usually the Western countries and Germany included they have a more direct style of
Okay.
communication. So we address things very directly. But again, also the time has changed.
Okay.
So sometimes I feel you are a little bit indirect in Germany, but it's maybe also my perspective or
Okay.
my observation because I lived abroad for many years.
Okay. So you would say you are a little bit more diplomatic before you say something, like you don't say directly what you want to say.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I would not say that I'm always diplomatic. I'm somehow in between. And I
Okay.
adopted certain things, definitely also from India, to be more indirect.
Okay.
Yes. And it just happens organically for me. Of course, I observe it and I see it's also, I mean, otherwise you're not kind of successful and people would react a little bit strange, and you can see that or feel that.
Hmm.
But also vice versa. I remember when I came back from Spain to Germany. In Spain, they make a lot of compliments, like also from woman to woman. And then I did that because I adopted this style, and
So
people
you
just,
think it's a nice cultural trait or a nice way to communicate?
yes, yeah. So
Okay. So in Germany, usually people don't say what they think about the appearance of someone. This is what you mean?
they do, but not as much. And for example, I've done a situation.
Yes, I have noticed in India when a woman makes an effort to dress up.
Yes,
In India, whether this is in your social life or in your professional life, people
yes,
tell you, "Oh, you look
exactly.
beautiful."
Yes.
So, as a German person, you've been traveling around before coming to India. But even though you are kind of an international person, you navigate across borders. Would you say that you had some culture shocks when you came to India for the first time?
No, not in India, because I had two cultural shocks before that. And I think
Okay, so where
somehow that
where were they?
Spain and Iran.
Okay. All right. So
Yes.
which one do you want to talk about?
I think the Spain one, because that was my first one and I really remember
Okay.
it very well. I don't want to say hate, but somehow everything was after 4 months or 5 months, I couldn't stand anything anymore. And I just wanted to go back. I missed
Okay.
my country and I was so fed up with behaviors or whatever. But
Okay.
it took me maybe a month and then I started loving it and said,
Ah, that's interesting. So you got used to it.
so I mean, it's normal. So the culture, not normal. Sometimes we're also getting stuck in this
That's true.
cultural shock. But
Mm,
for me, it was like really okay, like this, and then the cultural shock, and then it went up again.
that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
if I take my example, I did China, Turkey, and India.
Okay.
And what I have noticed in these three countries is the flexibility that we don't tend to have in the West, like in France, Germany, maybe Northern Europe. And I have learned to be a little bit less rigid in the way I am thinking or in the way I'm doing things at work or in my personal life. So for example, in India, we know that time, you need to be very flexible.
Yes.
If someone tells you 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it could be 2:30. I mean, in France, it could be 2:15. But sometimes in India, if you have an appointment at 2 and someone shows up at 2:30, they will talk about the traffic.
Yes.
And we know that this is true that in Bangalore, traffic is horrible. So people are more understanding, but would you say it would be a stereotype that in Germany, people don't like when people are late? Or this is not happening anymore?
No, no, it is.
What would you say?
It is. Apart from the train, people like being on time, and it's not good if you're late. Even a minute late is not really nice.
So this would be seen as unprofessional.
Yes.
Yes, and this is interesting to know as an Indian person, right? Because in India, people have this flexibility, and I think when Indian people learn German, they also need to learn these kind of details, which are very
Yes.
cultural. And also, I find that in India, when someone tells you something or they say yes or no, you don't always know what they mean. So in Germany, when someone says yes, is it really a yes?
Yes, it is a
Okay.
yes.
I think these are interesting cultural differences that we all need to be aware of. But also, I find that the traffic is also showing how India is, this chaos that someone I know talks about organized chaos. So I don't know if you would put it this way. Would you think that Indian traffic is organized chaos, or this is just chaos?
It is organized chaos.
Okay. Yeah,
Definitely.
because I actually agree, because you have to know the underground rules,
Exactly.
which are, so in Europe, we are trying to respect the rules of driving. But in India, you have to know the other rules that no one tells you about and that you discover when you start driving. And to wrap up this conversation, so you are saying you speak German, English. Do you speak Spanish as well?
Yes.
So do you feel that you are a different person when you speak each language? Or do you think you're the same person?
No, I'm not the same person.
So how would you describe your differences? Like when you speak German, how do you feel you
Yes.
are? When you speak English, how do you feel you are?
Yes. I feel, for example, when I speak English, people tell me I've already a slightly Indian accent. I also do this head wobbling,
Ah,
So,
yes. But we don't always know what this means. It can mean yes or no. I'm always
yes.
confused.
Yeah. Um, I think I'm adopting then the culture from the language itself,
Okay.
especially if I have lived in the country, like for example, Spain.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't know what about the other languages because I've learned more than 10 languages,
Oh,
but
that's a lot. Okay. But do you speak them
yes,
fluently?
I speak 5 fluently and the others is like, yeah, for example, French, I think I have a B1 level.
Oh, very
So I
nice. So
guess,
next time we meet, I have to speak to you in French then. I don't speak German, but I speak Spanish a little bit. So we could speak
okay,
Spanish and French.
and we do a multilingual podcast.
Oh, that would be interesting. I mean, I think we could do a whole podcast about languages
Let's do that.
and culture, because there are so many things to talk about.
Thank you for this opportunity, first of all.
Well, you're welcome.
Yeah, and coming back to languages and also how it shaped my personality, I think certain people are just a little bit more adjustable,
Hmm.
and some people they stay as they are. And I think what is important then, if you go abroad and work as an expat, that you just are aware about the differences, but also what you have in common to, yeah, kind of, I don't want to say survive, actually to live, because if you go abroad and you survive, that doesn't make sense for me.
Okay.
You have to live your life. Like you have to be happy in the end. You have to be successful. And if it's always in a survival mode, that is not going to work. And that is also something what I tell the students who are learning German.
I think you have to live the culture of the country you are living in. And I
Yes,
think at the beginning, you might feel frustrated because things are not going on the same way as in your country. But I
true.
feel that when you are learning a language, no matter what it is, you need to ask questions to your teacher about whatever habits people have.
Exactly. Yes. Staying curious. That is just
Exactly.
maybe a
Being
nice
curious,
closure.
being open minded to differences, but also, as you were saying earlier, to maybe similarities.
True.
This is also a possibility. Well, thank you very much, Anna. I know you're a very busy person, and I really appreciate that you took the time to do this episode.
Thank you, Dorothy, for this
Yeah,
opportunity. I
welcome.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, bye.